Hey everybody, and welcome back to Dash Studio. This is a slightly different Let's Render, because I actually have an idea in my head as to what I'm trying to achieve. I'm actually going to be making a render for a game that I'm currently working on. Before I get started, a huge thank you to everyone for subscribing and hitting that notification icon. That really helps me out. And of course, an even bigger thank you to my members and patrons, whose names will be running across the bottom of the screen at the end of the video as usual. So what I've got to do is I'm going to build a little vignette, because the set that's being used in this image isn't going to be a frequently recurring part of the game. It's going to be realistically only used for this conversation and maybe one other. So I haven't got to build a whole elaborate set. I just need to build one corner where the character is going to be, and really that's all I've got to do. So this is fairly simple, but there are some caveats to that, in that it still has to look like a real room. So I'm actually going to use an asset that I've got. It's probably not unknown to you guys, but either way I'm still not going to promote the product, simply because that's just not what I do. I'm not here to advertise somebody's products. I'm just going to use the base of that product to create what I need to create. So the first thing I need is a floor, which you can see I now have. Then what I need is two walls, which luckily also come as part of this set. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use one of the walls from this set, and then I'm actually just going to use a simple plane for the other wall, A for simplicity and B so that you can see there are alternatives if you really are stuck. Now I'm just choosing a wall that I like. That one will work. I'm actually going to rotate it. I want it to be the left-hand window, or the left-hand wall, so I'm just going to rotate that 90 degrees. Let's use my move tool. I'm just going to drag it over so that it's in the corner, because all of the stuff that's happening is going to be happening really here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a plane. I'm just going to click on this icon that's three shapes smushed together. Create plane. This one's going to probably be about 3 meters by 3 meters. Again, the actual dimensions don't matter because I can scale it. Same with this one if I really wanted to, but I'm not gonna. We need to rotate it around the Z-axis, so we're just going to stick 90 in there. It doesn't matter if it's plus or minus at the moment. Probably got it the wrong way around. We can just move that into place using our X, Y and Z sliders like this. I'm just going to intersect those two like that. And then on the Y translate, we're going to just bring that up like so. Now on the X scale, I actually want to make it wider because I want a little bit more of a wall here, like so. And I think we can probably afford to go a little bit bigger on the Z scale as well, just to make those two match up. Now you're not actually going to see the ceiling at any point, so I'm not going to bother putting one in. This is a really basic way of building a set, but it's just minimizing. There's absolutely nothing in this scene that's unnecessary. I'm going to use static meshes to be my light sources. Might have the panes of glass in the window emitting light as well, simply because bathrooms, which is where this scene is taking place, generally have frosted glass, which means that there's no need for these to be transparent. In fact, I could do that now. I can just select the glass there. In the Surfaces tab, I can then go to Window Glass Emission and add emissive property to that. And then for the sake of making it bright, I can change the value to KCD over MR2. And then if I go to NVIDIA iRay, you'll be able to see that they're actually really freaking bright. Probably too bright, so we can drop this down. I'm going to try 500 and just see what happens there, like so. I'm actually going to check in my render settings to make sure that I've got it set in environment to scene only, which is not the case. There you go. So now you can see those windows are creating a nice amount of light, and more importantly you can't see through them, which means I haven't got to faff around worrying about HDRIs or anything like that in this particular scene. Now this wall has something of a reflective property at the moment, so I'm actually going to find a shader in my content library. I'm just going to go with search for paint because I've got loads, but you're going to want to find some kind of wall material for your wall as well, otherwise it looks like it's plastic, which is just weird. This I'm going to try and keep it as similar to the wall of the other one. There you go. So I've applied a new shader to this wall now, and that's removed that reflective property from there. Now, something else that I'm noticing is that it still looks quite dark. It looks like the room's being naturally lit only. Generally speaking, if we're going to be doing the whole bathroom thing, I think we're going to have to add another light into the scene. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another plane. This one's going to be 0.5 meters across. Just going to hit accept there. There we go, nice and small. Select that plane. Going to change the surface emissions straight away. I'm actually going to give this one a slightly blue tinge as well, because sort of the kind of lights that you have in a bathroom, generally speaking, tend to be more kind of bluish in colour. So we can do that. Now if I drag this up, I'm going to drag it a little bit closer to this wall as well. It's kind of there. And then if we change this to KCDM up to as well, now we've got another light source in our room. It's actually not really central. We'll just drag that over a little bit more so that it's here. And then that just gives us a little bit more fill light. And I can increase the value of that if I need to so that it's brighter still, or I can create multiples of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back to texture shaded, not wire texture shaded. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag these items. This is like the very, very base room. So I'm actually going to create a group here. I'm just going to call this walls. There you go. And then that just puts them all in one group, and then I can make them unclickable so I don't actually accidentally drag them around the room while I'm adding the furniture. So this is where we're going to start adding furniture. I want a bathtub to be in it because the character in the conversation is actually going to be in the tub as they're having a conversation. Don't get overly excited, she's going to have bubbles covering everything up. So I'm just going to do a search for tub in my content library, see what I've got. And I found a tub. Found a couple of tubs. I'm going to just pick the simplest one that I can, which is probably this one, because the person that's having the conversation isn't outstandingly rich. So we can now, using our properties, we're going to just rotate this minus 90 degrees because I want the taps at the window end. And then this tub's going to be close to the wall, like so. And then let's just have a look and see what that looks like in iRay mode. Looking good so far. I'm actually going to drag it away from the wall ever so slightly because I want to put a plant in the corner maybe, or something like that. Something to make the room look more attractive. In fact, we'll just do a search for plant now. Why the hell not? And eventually we will get some results. And I just want a potted plant, a simple potted plant, house plant. That'll do. That one. Drag that into the corner. It's got to be perfect. It's going to be kind of bokeh'd out anyway. Might have another one in the room as well. Something perhaps on the windowsill or something. Something small. And let's have a look. That's a bit too big. That'll do. How big's that? It's not even in the set for some inexplicable reason. Oh, look at that. That's a beast. Alright, yeah, we can have that over here by the side of the window, and then that just fills in that space a little bit. Really what I need to do now is start looking at filling the room with niff-naff and trivia. It's a lady's bathroom, sorry. So I'm going to have some candles near the tub. Try and find some nice candles. Let's have a look. They again, not expensive ones, so we're looking for some kind of like scented candle that's not going to be overly resource expensive. They're in the bathroom. We could do with some jars maybe. Have a look. Right, this is where we need to switch out of iRay mode for a minute. Come in nice and close like this. Zoom in on that. Is that okay? Yeah, that might work alright. Yeah, it's fine. That's not, of course, to say that only ladies have candles by the bath. Of course, chaps are always welcome to do that as well. We can just now make sure that we get this in the right position on the scale. There we go, that one's there. I have another one next to it. Now if we Control C that one, we should be able to Control V that one. Nope, where in the blue hell is that one gone? do that and move it manually then. Okie dokie. Drag this over. Bring that up nice. Just there. Looks alright. Maybe I'll move this one over into that corner as well. Why not get them into each other, and then this one's out, but I still think that looks okay. Right, let's see if this one jumps to where it needs to be. No, it doesn't. Okay. Manually move that one as well. Just drag that up again. Bring it into roughly the right position. Check our X and Y. Again, if there's a little bit of clipping, it's not the end of the world, because it's... Again, these aren't necessarily going to be major features in the image, as long as they're there. Now, if we were to stick this in array mode, we could see if any of these are actually emitting any light. Yeah, the big one's emitting light. Those two aren't, that's fine. Okay. What I want to do next is find some water for the tub, so I'm just going to search for water in my content library. The tub looks a bit dirty there, doesn't it? Not great. And I just need to find a water plane. Doesn't really matter, actually. If I was just to create a plane here, make it 0.5 meter by 0.5 meter is fine. Let's come back into texture shaded mode. There it is. Drag that up. This tub's going to be pretty damn full, so I'll pop that sort of in the middle, and then we can adjust the X scale so that it fills the tub lengthways. Adjust the X scale so it fills the tub widthways, and then we can just drop it down slightly like so. Maybe a bit higher. Yeah, that looks okay. Click into our surfaces thing, and then I'm just going to stick a shader on that. There we go. Now, when we go into array mode, theoretically, it should look like foamy water in the top of the bath. Looks a bit naff, so let's try this one instead. We want it to look really foamy. How does that look? It looks more like a bath full of milk, that one, doesn't it? I don't think Cleopatra is overly going to be thrilled with the idea of someone stealing our idea. What we can do, though, is we can actually just stick any old shader on it, which might have a bump map on it, and then we can add... Oh, that's the wrong damn thing. Oh, look, how does that look? Right, we might need to adjust the tiling there because that looks like it's stretched. So we just go into geometry, UV maps, tiling, there we go. So we can go with horizontal tiles. Let's just change the horizontal, let's change that to 2 and see what happens. That's a little bit better. Let's change that to 4 then, no 3. Still not perfect. Alright, 5. Let's see what happens there. Let's change that 1, 2. Now we seem to have extra stuff going on there, obviously, because we've added a decal to the top of it. Let's just go back to there. Create foamy water. Now we can see a texture there. That's better. Looking a little bit healthier. Come back to our tiling. I'm going to just see what happens if I change that to 2. So I'm going to get narrow. Oh, there we go. That's starting to look better already. I think maybe 2.5 should do the trick there. Let's just change that. Click on there. 2.5. That's better. Now we've got a bathtub full of water. Perfect. Right, we can get rid of that nonsense from in there. Cool beans. What else do we need? We need a towel rail. So let's just look for that. See what we've got in our inventory. Now I think that the towel wants to be... now I'm thinking from the character's point of view, where would the towel be? Would it be hanging up on a rail? Would it be chucked on the floor? Probably be chucked on the floor if I'm being honest, because they're a bit messy, so we just do that. There we go. Towels on the floor. We can just move that around as much as we need. We just select it. There we go. That's cool. Next thing, we need some toiletries and stuff. So we'll just look for, search for maybe soap or something like that. See what we've got lying around. We'll probably have a bar of soap next to the bath as well, just for the sake of having one. So we'll just drag that in. Go back into our texture shaded mode. Now, why is that? Oh, this is one of those annoying props that's offset. Alright, we'll get rid of that. Can't be dealing with that. Okay, so we've got some soap bottles there. They're cool. They'll work. Yeah, it's not an extravagant bath set. It's just what this young lady happens to have around. So I'm going to put this on that back corner over there. Maybe rotate it a little bit so that it looks a little bit more messy. There we go. Cool. And let's see what else we've got in this lovely selection. And have a looky. Just a random bar of soap. Nice. I think we need some painting, a painting of some sort on the wall. This is kind of like a little homey kind of thing. So let's just go with search for painting. Something pleasant but weird is what I'm after. Yeah, that is looking. Oh, she'll do. That will do. Right. So we've just got to find that painting wherever it may be in the scene. Oh, look at that. It's actually at 0, which is great. Grab that. Stick that on the wall. Is that a Van Gogh? I don't know. Van Gogh? Van Gogh? We call him Van Gogh in the UK. And let's just move it along the x-axis till it is against the wall. Starting to look like a bathroom already. Right, I think I maybe want to put some curtains or blinds actually over the window. Not expensive ones, just, you know, standard blinds. I think I may have. Oh, there we go. One there. Like that. -90, and stick it up over. Where's that gone? What's going on there? That is far too narrow. Okay, let's scale it along the z-axis. And let's try the x-axis. Yeah, that's cool. And let's just pop that out there and drag it against the window, like so. This one I'm going to have kind of there. Yeah, that works. And then I'll do another one. Try to see that one. Control V that one. What's going on over there? Has it duplicated it exactly? Has it? It has. Okay, cool beans. That saved me a job. Now we can lower these blinds slightly. We will open them that way. Perfect. There we go. A couple of blinds there. Starting to look good now. Starting to get what we want, what we need. Right, let's just have a look at this through IRA mode and see if it's got anything else that we can add to it to add some atmos. Nice bit of light coming off our candles there. Nice bit of window light coming in there. Picture looks good. Plants look okay. Water looks good. And towel on the floor looks alright. Looks alright. I think I'm still going to do a little bit more searching for some more niff-naff and trivia to put around the bath. So we've got candles, we've got soap. I wonder if we've got any more bath related stuff. If I do a search in my content library for bath, and then let's just see what plops up. Okay, we've got some bubble bath foam there. Ooh, that's interesting. Let's have a look at that. What does that do? If we copy that there, when we go Control V. Wow, okay, that is massive. Let's just change that to 100%. And this to 100% as well. Let's see what we've got here. It's a round bath, which is useful. Just drop that over the top of our bathtub like this. Bring it this way a little bit. No, that doesn't work. It's just a weird shape. We haven't got a round bathtub. We do not have a round bathtub, so we don't need that. Flannel, face towel, whatever you want to call it. You can just pop that in there. Don't know why that's all the way up there all of a sudden. I'll just drop that round there. Maybe have it floating on top of our water. Zoom on in. Why that's so massive again? Oh, it's because I've been messing with the sizes and I've control pasted it. That's why. If we bring that up a smidge, that's a bit too much. So let's say -50 and see where that. Oh no, that's wrong. No, we need -35. See where that brings us to. Alright, that'll work. Slide that over there. Like so. Next thing I've got to do is bring my character in once I'm happy. I think this might be a bit dark, if I'm being honest, this scene. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up my surface selection tool again. I need to actually uncheck that now. I can select that surface again. Come into our surface properties. I just think that this window needs to be closer to some. Let's try 800 and see what that does. Oh, let's try 1000. That'll do, it's fine. I just want more light to be coming from the window from the candles, and obviously I still got the ceiling plane, which I'm about to change as well. Make sure I've got that selected. That's our plane there. Well, alright, is that, oh no, that's inside that selection as well. Let me deselect that, give that a select. In our emission properties, I'm just going to set that to maybe 2000. Cool, right, there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag everything that I've just put in this scene into that group so that it's permanently fixed where it is and I cannot select or deselect it or anything like that. So I can now freely move around this vignette, this little corner room, and not worry about anything else. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring the character in. I'm going to do that off camera so that you don't see any cyber boobs, and then I'll be right back. So here we are, I've got my character in the scene, already kind of struck up a pose. She is wearing a bathing suit for the purposes of YouTube, of course, and I'm going to put her into a pose. When I actually render the image, she's not going to be wearing the swimsuit. The swimsuit, as I said, is purely for being family friendly, and the finished article will have to be censored as and when, but for now let's just get her into position. I'm kind of digging the whole casual feel of this pose. I might have to tweak it slightly because at the moment it's clipping on the bathtub, but I don't want it to be so far out of the tub that it looks weird. So as you can see, her bum is actually it's actually on the bottom of the thing still. So maybe that area is actually not too bad. So I just need to lift her legs ever so slightly. This one more so than this one. Let's see what we can do there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just go with the thigh bend. Maybe I'll go with... we'll try it with the calf bend and we'll see what happens if I just lift that up there. I think that's going to look a bit too weird, so maybe it might have to be a combination of the two. This is pretty standard realistically. I mean, if you're using poses that weren't designed specifically for your character, you are going to have to do this pretty much all the time. You're going to have to tweak to make sure that there's no clipping and all that sort of thing, because these poses were generally all made for a very specific character. or the Genesis 8 female base model, which this character is not. In fact, this character is... I don't even want to show you how many morphs I've had to use to create this character. It is a lot. No, that's the wrong flipping one. Control Z that. Select the correct leg. Let's see if we can lift this up. So this one's supposed to be kind of crossed over that one slightly. Yeah, that works. Her eyes, she's got a bit of a weird expression going on her face at the moment. I think it's because she's looking dead ahead and her head is weirdly twisted. So we'll give her a new expression, which I'll do now. Just go to poses and expressions. I need to obviously change the selection to her face and not her leg, otherwise we're going to get some very weird results. Just select her there. In expressions, just going to choose something pretty chilled out. Chilled out and happy, that's what I'm looking for. Let's see what we've got. Quite a lot of selection to choose from, if I'm being honest. Make sure we choose something that's suitable. For some reason this character's getting the male poses available as well. It is based on a Genesis 8 female. Maybe the poses are for transgender characters or something. We just want something along the lines of... yeah, let's have a look. That one I'll do. No, that's the wrong one. I've chosen the half of a pose. Silly boy. Wait for that to kick in. Do the whole pose. Yeah, there we go. That's a bit better. And then we need to actually make her looking down here at something at the moment. Perhaps if we just have her looking at her toes for now, so we can just come right in here. And we're going to create a new null by clicking this button here, and I'm just going to apply active viewport transforms like that. And then when I come away, you can see there's a null there. And then when I select her eyeballs, I can actually go left eye, point at null. Right eye, point at null as well. Accept. Okay, that's fine. There's gonna be a little bit of clipping, but in some circumstances you can get away with that because the human body, when you rest your legs on something, your calves do kind of go around whatever you're resting them on. So it's not the end of the world. Let's put it that way. So the last thing I want to do really is just make sure I've got the character selected again. And I'm just going to put some bath foam on maybe her leg. We just go to all files in our smart content. I'm just going to look for foam. Okay, the foam geoshell. I don't think that's going to work for me. Let's try soap. And then we've got some options that come up there. Just going to stick them on basically, and you guys will see them pop up as I put them on. Saves you guys having to worry about the faffery of doing this. Let's go with some more. Kind of like that one maybe. And I think we need to put some on her upper body as well. Just pop some there perhaps. It won't look quite so rude when it's actually in the render. That's all I can say about that. And probably have to put some maybe a little bit on her face as well. Just because she's in the tub. There we go. That looks pretty good. Cool beans. Okay, so now we just got to compose our shots. There's going to be multiple shots because she's having a conversation. She is actually going to be FaceTiming, so realistically I could adjust one of her hands to be holding a phone, maybe. Let's look and see if I've got a prop phone. Let's see what we've got in there. I think it's going to be in her right hand. Let's see what we've got. I want it to be a decent looking phone as well. None of this nonsense. Got quite a lot of smartphones there to choose from. Cool, so I've got the phone prop in her hand, so I can now just start looking at moving so that it's more appropriately positioned. She is, after all, FaceTiming somebody, or whatever the youth of today are doing. Right, it's twisted quite hard as well, so we'll untwist it. Let's just reset this bit to 0 and then move the post from there. Right, going on there. Let's just 0 that. And we'll 0 this one. Okay, the phone is nowhere in sight. And then we'll 0 the twist as well. Coolio. Actually not that far from where I want it to be honest. Not entirely sure where that phone has gone. That's slightly worrying, but this one, so we need to bring this down slightly. Bring that in, no, the other way. Just going to have it quite close to her body. Probably going to have her shoulder rolled forwards ever so slightly. I might need to change that in the actual shoulder settings. Let's just go to the shoulder. And we'll go front to back there. Yeah, there we go. That's more like it. Right, where is that phone? Seriously. Oh, right. It hasn't actually been given to her. Alright, well, we can use a different phone. It's fine. Let's just go back into the smart content. Look in the props section. And find a phone. Right, phone, right hand. That will do. That is fine. Cool. That gives us some indication of what we're actually seeing, what she's doing, so we can actually bend that a little bit backwards. Let's just see which way's backwards. Yeah, that's good. Now let's have a look. I'm thinking she's probably going to be FaceTiming in horizontal mode, just because she's not necessarily... She's talking to one of her friends. She's conscious of the fact that her friends don't need to see the fact that she's in the bath, so she's probably going to have her arm up a little bit more, thinking about it. So let's just bend that one. That's cool. Bend and twist this one, so we twist it this way. Oh, okay, we're twisting the other way. Come on. Draggy, draggy. Right, okay, that's fine. Be a distance away from her. Then the hand can be side to side. And bent. Which way are we bending? That way. No, it just looks like she's taking a picture of herself in a wrong and kind of way. Let's just look at this, and now we've got to do is twist that hand up that way, and then we can just increase that bend a little bit more. Happy days. Right, now we can actually change the way where her eyes are pointing. So if we go back to her eyeballs, that. And we can change what she's looking at, point at, and then we just got to find that phone. And it was never going to be easy to find, so we've got to go. Now go to hip, and we go to abdomen lower, abdomen upper, chest lower, chest upper, phone. Okay, so she's going to look a bit cross-eyed. I'm pretty convinced of that. Yeah, she's looking at her phone. All cross-eyed. We need to adjust the head position now because that just doesn't make any sense. So we're just going to change the bend so that it looks a little bit less weird. And when the technology eventually catches up, that's cool. Now all we need to do is simulate the hair and move our camera in. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm just going to run the simulation. Okay, that's the simulation run. I know there's a bit of a weird clipping thing going on here, but it doesn't matter. This is not going to be the center of the shot anyway. We're going to be focusing on her face from different angles. So I'm just going to pick an angle that I think looks not terrible. And yes, before you say anything, I know that the items in this shot probably aren't going to be in this particular render, but as I said, there's multiple renders. There's going to be some wider angle ones as well. I'm going to create a camera here and look through it. Change the camera focal length. So that we're zooming in. We can get as far away as we want here because there are no walls to look through. So I'm going to go far enough back that my focal length is in the region of about the 600 kind of range, maybe even further. Maybe even further. Yeah, that'd probably work. Move that camera up. Really helpful. Oh, it's just massively swinging around the place. Okay, that's fine. Close in a little bit because that's kind of bonkers. I literally just click the mouse and the flipping thing was like whoa, all the way over there, which we don't need. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. Even more still, maybe. Cool. Right, back into perspective view mode. I'm going to turn on our depth of field. And as you can see, it kind of automatically does set the focal length to sort of where we need it to be, but we obviously need to tweak it because we want to be focused on the nearest eye. It should be the center of your focal attention. So line up there, you can see that that's a slight fraction out. We're going to set that bang on there, and then we can increase so that the rest of the face and stuff are in focus as well. And then we'll have a lot of bokeh around the rest of the image. And then I'm just going to quickly go into NVIDIA Iron Mode again, just to check that this doesn't look completely mental. Going to look a little bit weird with that hair clipping through that arm, but we can fix that in Photoshop if we need to. Let's just see what's going on. Actually doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad. The eyes being crossed is kind of weird, so I might move that phone a little bit further away, but I will start the rendering process anyway, and you guys will see the finished product momentarily.